Seeing things like this can only mean one thing. Now, if you don't recognize that sound, around here we call them peepers or just frogs, but it means that spring is here, the animals are awake, and it's time to start working in the lawn again. So this is a new series that I've released called Lawn Lessons, and the goal of this is to teach you all kinds of things about lawn care, tips and tricks to make it easier, and give you a little bit more information so that you can have a great lawn this year. No matter where you live, spring is one of the best times of year because it means you're going to be able to get outside, have some fun, and if you have a lawn that you love, this is the chance to really make it look great for the whole year. Now, everything you see in here is just part of my ritual. I thought I'd share this with you, connecting up hoses, umbrellas, flags, all that stuff. And I love all of this because this means that the season is really starting up. As I finish my startup routine, what I want to do now is take care of getting the yard ready for a solid season. And I recommend that you rake the yard to get all the dead grass up, twigs, rocks, or whatever you have out there to really give your surface a great beginning and a chance for new grass to grow easily. Now here I'm doing a manual raking using a rake that I made a separate video on that really is a great tool. But you can use any tool to do this, but it is manual and it takes a lot of effort. But you can see what comes up as I'm doing this raking, a lot of dead grass. Now in my case, I've got another problem. And if you've got a dog like me, some of what you see in there is stuff that you're very familiar with, and a lot of this stuff is embedded in there over the whole winter. So it's important that I spend some time and rake that stuff up too. So raking's a simple, cheap, easy way to get the job done. But if you get tired easily or it's just too much work because you have too big of a yard, you're probably going to want to find another way. But take a look at what I've already pulled up there. It's really some pretty nasty stuff, and if you leave that there, your lawn's really not going to have a good chance because it's going to get smothered before the season even begins. Now, what if you've got a big lawn? Something like this can be a really great option, and if you've never seen this before, this is a mower-attached Dethatcher, and all it really is a rake attached to that frame that connects to your mower. Now I've got a big mower here, but don't be fooled because they sell all versions of this type of attachment. There's very inexpensive ones that you can get for the front of a regular riding mower, and then there's even ones you can get for a push mower. Now they're pretty common, but if you want to go for something even bigger, you can rent a Dethatcher that runs off its own engine. But here's my tip about dethatching that you want to make sure of. Everything you rake up, you've got to collect. So when you rake by hand, if your yard's small, you can put it in the bags and throw it out. But with this machine here, the reason this works great for me is because as I dethatch, it goes right into the mowing deck and then it gets vacuumed up. So these things work great because they really allow you to do a bigger area quicker and easier, except for this part here. When I went to put this on, this pin was stuck so bad no matter what I did, I couldn't get it through. So even I occasionally go and get the bigger hammer and it does solve the problem. So now I've got this thing attached to my mower and I'm ready to do the job. And you can see with these how they work. You can't leave them down all the time when you're turning or if you're going backwards. So most have a mechanism that allows you to tilt it up and down. This way you can use your mower like normal, but then when you want to dethatch, you can drop it right down. Now one of these add-on dethatchers will work really great. You can buy them used and save some money, and there's actually some cheap ones available. But before you get started, we got one more thing to do. Walk around your yard and you want to find any big sticks, because if these things get into your mower, especially the certain ones that come from oak trees or they're just a huge piece of wood, you can blow out your engine really easily. So you want to take a few minutes to do this before you start. Here's the last big tip that I want to give you. Before you do that first mow, what I like to do, and it saves a ton of time, is to go underneath my deck or any problem areas like this where I've got a lot of leaves and blow them all over the lawn. I used to love to run the mower first, so this is really kind of hard for me, but by doing it this way, it's a lot more efficient, and when I'm done and I run that mower, I'll be done with my yard cleanup. And it gives a pretty good result. Almost all the leaves are gone. It was very little effort, and I'll have my yard done in no time. Now we can finally get to see the front-mounted Dethatcher in action. Now all these things basically work the same, so regardless of what type of mower you have, if you're using a front or a rear-mounted Dethatcher, you're going to get the same result. Now these are not as good as doing the whole yard by hand with a rake, but you can do them more than once and you can get about the same result. So it really saves time and you're sitting back on your mower, so it's pretty easy to do. Let's take a closer look at the actual action of this machine. We can see right here that those tines are doing a great job. You can see dead grass and leaves building right up, and what happens is it fluffs up the grass and they get sucked right into your mower. And in this section, if you take a close look on the right-hand side of the area that I've already done, compared to what you're seeing on the left, it's a big improvement. So this does a great job and it really pulls up a lot of debris. Now, one thing as you can see there's a lot of stuff coming up because there's a lot of dead grass from the winter and things that just need to come off the lawn. Now, the first time you use one of these machines, you might freak out a little bit because even within a few passes, you might have to empty your bag all the time, but it still beats raking, so it's well worth it. And once you've done this a couple of seasons, you won't get as much each year. I really was impressed by this Dethatcher. It's not unique that it's the Walker one. You can really get any of those Dethatchers. They all work the same and they all use the same kind of design. And I think you're going to get some great results. Now, as I finish my own yard up here, I'll give you a final shot of what I ended up with. And this is a very heavy area for leaves, debris, acorns. And you can see the end result is pretty good. Now, it's really early in the season here, so don't expect this grass to be real green yet. And if you've watched my other videos, you'll recognize this section because this was the area that I planted last year with no irrigation, no hoses, and I really just relied on natural rainfall. So I'm looking forward to showing you this section again this year and the progress. So this concludes lesson 1. You really want to clean your yard up and dethatch and get it ready for the season. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment below. I'd love to hear from you, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Thanks for watching.